Hello, everyone. This is Will.
This is Alex.
Welcome back to another episode of They Mostly Come Out at Night.
Mostly.
Oh, man. 80 has been actually kind of awesome. I'm not going to lie. There's been a lot of, really good shit and, interesting concepts.
Fantastic shit.
Just really, well set up shit and, got awesome, camera work and surprisingly good movies. There's been a lot of bangers in this year.
Yeah.
It's been kind of incredible. Because we don't get a lot of years where it's there's this much good content.
Banger after banger.
Because, a lot of times we'll get, a few, but not, 4 or 5. Not most of the fucking year. I don't know. It's just been... It's been a hell of a year. And it's been great. So
yeah, this is the last movie of the year.
This is our last movie of 1980. We're done. We're on to 81.
Yeah.
And man, it's been awesome. Did I say it's been awesome? Because I feel like I haven't said that enough. So anyway, to finish out the year, we watched Alligator.
A film that I have previous experience with long ago.
You've seen it, what, twice now?
Twice.
Well, now three
now
times.
This is the third time.
Okay.
Because long ago, back in the day, Sci-Fi Channel showed somewhat real movies. And I caught this.
I don't think anyone can claim that Sci-Fi shows somewhat real movies, because I don't know if they ever have, to be honest.
Well, long ago, they did. I mean, long ago, you would catch
you mean
movies
back
like this.
Before it was Asylum movies and
Yes.
fucking just trash Sharktopus and
Sharktopus versus Megaloctopus and three-headed Sharktopus attack.
Mega Shark versus Croc Bear or whatever it's called, the fucking one that's fused with a bear. There's just a bunch of bullshit.
It's trash.
But I digress.
But once upon a time, it was little fucking B movies and shenanigans and what was that show? Scare Tactics. But
Okay.
and I caught this movie on there, and I dug it a lot. But obviously, since Sci-Fi Channel, it's just cable TV, it was censored.
Oh, they heavily edit.
So you have to censor it to get it down to fucking basically equivalent of a PG-13. And in a movie like this, there's a lot of snipping that's done.
Yes.
To put it mildly. And then I was I watched it and I was like, well, I'm missing something. But this is good.
Yeah, for some reason, and I know this is totally off subject, for some reason when you mentioned sci-fi, I remember watching, I think it was the Shark Attack movies or whatever they're called. The one with John Barrowman.
There's 3 of them, yeah.
Yeah, so the third one when he's
oh, the greatest line ever.
So they edited it in the sci-fi thing, so I didn't know what he said at first. Because you don't know what he says. There's this famous line, and I'm if you've seen the Shark Attack movies, you know which line I'm going to say.
You can look this up on YouTube.
You can look it up on YouTube. It's incredible. So literally, this is John Barrowman in this movie, and he was paid to say this line. So he says, I'm really tired, but I'm kind of wired. How would I take you home and I eat your pussy? And I just
and it hard cuts to them in the shower.
So the thing was, I first saw all the Shark Attack movies on Sci-Fi, right? They're dumb as hell.
Yeah, same.
So I watched all of them on
and they progressively get worse. Is the thing.
When you said heavily edited, I just thought of that because I had no idea that was the actual line of Shark Attack 3.
Yep.
And I was floored when I first heard first heard it, what the actual line was, because I don't know what they edited. I think they just bleeped it out or something.
I mean, with this movie,
I don't know what they did with it, but
with this movie, every time they swore when it was on Sci-Fi Channel, it would just mute the dialogue. So for a second, it was just silence, and they were mouthing fuck or ass or tits or whatever.
I don't know why, but that made me think of that because it is the power of editing when you're a child and don't understand what the movie's context actually is.
Yeah.
So when you watch it as like an adult or like as a teenager, and you're like, "Holy shit, that's what they actually say."
Because I watched this as I think I was like 12 or 13 or something. I don't even know. And then a few years later, I caught it on like HBO, full, unedited, glory, and I was like, oh, baby.
Can you believe there's a generation of fucking cable viewers that think that John McClane actually said "Yippee-ki-yay, melon farmer"?
Dude, I don't know how people watch movies on regular cable. Like, anytime they show an R-rated movie, I'm just like, how did they do this scene, or how did they do that scene, or this or that? Like, how?
Yeah, I mean, this is a topic for a different podcast, so we're not going to get into that.
But the thing is, with movies like this,
it was just relevant, and I just thought of it.
Well, this is the kind of movie that gets like randomly played on cable.
Yes.
At midnight,
and it's incredible. It should be played everywhere.
And you should. I'm just saying, if you've seen this movie on cable, you should watch it in full, unedited glory.
Yes. If you see it anywhere, just plant your ass down and watch this movie.
Watch it in the full fucking unedited R-rated gore beauty.
Especially if you like movies like Lake Placid, if you like there was that new movie Crawl. If you like anything with like giant alligators or giant animal or
monster
creature features kind of thing, give this movie a watch because you will not regret it. I guarantee it.
Lake Placid is great.
This movie is incredible.
Once upon a time, before sci-fi became SYFY, directors actually made good giant killer animal movies.
Yes, they did. There was a time when that happened.
And this one is a prime example of it.
Yes. Now, as you can obviously tell, we're not doing this chronological. We're just gonna kind of just shoot the shit about it. Like, we're just like farting around. I don't know, like whatever you want to call it.
I call it a rambler.
Yeah, let's do a rambler. I like that. I like that term. So it's kind of funny. We were talking before the podcast. Like, we do ramblers for like shit that we really hate or that we really love.
Where you're full of emotion and you gotta fucking get it out.
So if you ever hear us going on about a rambler, you know it's something we really fucking hate or we really like.
Where it's just like we just need to get it off our chest.
Yes. Or gush about it.
This is a rambler.
This is a gushing rambler.
Because essentially, I mean, the basic plot, I mean, it doesn't really matter, but we've all seen them, and honestly, I don't care. They'll never get old. But the basic plot is that a fucking little girl, her parents buy her a little baby alligator at like a fucking alligator show, and then when her dad's like angry at her one day, he flushes it down the toilet and tells her that the alligators like died.
Yeah,
and it starts eating like fucking mutated dogs
that some like pharmaceutical companies
experimenting on,
and like giving a growth hormone
because they're trying to get like this new medicine.
Are you piecing together what's going on?
So the alligator starts eating this, and it grows large.
It grows into a big boy.
And years later, we got a cop who's kind of a bit of a, he doesn't give a shit.
Like a deadbeat almost. Like, I don't know if I'd call him a deadbeat. Well, is that the right term? I don't know. Like,
he
just doesn't give a shit.
I don't know how to explain this. If you've seen any movie made before like 2005, you know what I'm talking about. But he's just one of those like blue collar fucking movie characters.
Well, he's also traumatized by something. You don't know what during the movie you figure out what's like kind of affecting him and why he became this kind of.
Why he's just kind of like a cop who like
doesn't really care.
Investigates like shit that no one cares about.
Yes.
But there's all these murders. There's all these deaths going on. There's body parts flowing up, and there's dead dogs flowing up in the sewers. There's something in the sewers.
And he goes to investigate, enter the entire movie.
And that's our movie, and it's beautiful.
Can we just talk... Okay, so we're not doing this chronologically, but I want to talk about how this movie starts. Because it's insane at that alligator show.
Like 20 seconds in?
So it's the little girl watching this guy feed the alligators, right?
At like a fucking alligator show in like Florida or something.
And then all of a sudden, the guy starts getting nommed on.
Well, he gets his like foot stuck in a log and falls over, and the alligator just fucking starts biting his leg.
And it death rolls his leg,
and then the announcers all
everywhere.
like,
they're like, oh well, like sometimes that'll happen, like that's how you know you're watching a live show. And they
the mom's like, oh, the fake blood's too much.
Like they just don't give a shit, and like everyone starts freaking out, but the announcer's like, don't worry, everything's under control. As this guy's getting like his leg like eaten off by an alligator.
That's how the movie starts.
And then that's when they buy the little alligator. So it's like this whole chaos. No one cares that the guy just got his leg just almost torn off.
Well, the thing I love about this movie, and why even though it's like my third time watching it, it feels like a warm hug. Because even though this movie has just buckets of fucking blood and gore, and so many people die, despite all of that, like it's very lighthearted.
Well, there's this. Okay, so it's weird.
The tone is very it's very sarcastic. It's very lighthearted.
Well, they constantly poke fun at the main detective's bald.
Oh, I love this
balding spot.
I love this because the main guy's got
They mention it multiple times.
Multiple characters look at him and mention the fact that he's got male pattern baldness, and I love that.
Because he has a bald patch in front that he's trying to grow the hair over.
Yeah.
And they all were like, oh,
everyone
don't
mentions
worry,
it.
I have baldness too. It's fine.
And then the other guy's like, you should see a hairdresser.
Even the girl, even the girl he gets with at the end mentions something.
Well, they're it's after they've had sex, and she's running her fingers through his hair, but it's the spot, and he's like, look, I get it, I got male pattern baldness. Don't mention it. But it's just the whole tone, it's very lighthearted. So I don't know, it's a movie that you can I feel relaxed watching it.
Which is weird because they even handle the detective's trauma in a kind of in a lighthearted way. They don't really
they don't dwell on it.
They don't dwell on it. He gets a little upset about it, but they don't really focus on it.
It doesn't derail the plot.
Because it was in the plot, it was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Happened quite a while ago. He just can't get over it because he let his partner die.
Basically, his partner died, and it's everyone kind of holds it over him.
Yes.
Everyone knows about it, and there's this douchebag reporter who's always mentioning it. And when a guy that he takes to the sewers to investigate the alligator gets eaten, he just keeps thinking about that. Oh, I lost another partner.
Yeah.
And you find out that what happened was that a guy basically held up a roll of pennies to him, and he thought it was a gun.
And then the guy took his gun and shot his partner with it.
And so ever since then, he's just kind of not dealt with serious cases.
I also like how our guy is damaged, but he's actually they paint him out to be actually a pretty decent guy.
I love the characters in this.
All the characters are really well written. You got your douchebag, the douchebag police chief
who's always yelling at him,
and he's always concerned about how the mayor will react.
How the mayor's gonna see it.
Yeah, and then you got your douchebag mayor,
who's just he's in cahoots with the pharmaceutical company.
Well, he doesn't give a shit that this alligator. He just basically wants the PR, the publicity to go
get reelected.
Yeah. And he's using it to be oh, look how good our police force did at handling this alligator, even though they fuck up at every single point. And then you have the all the political people having a giant wedding, and you know what's gonna happen there.
You don't, but
I mean,
they went there.
It's a giant monster movie. You kind of have an inkling of you don't exactly know how they're gonna do it, but you know something. They wouldn't show them setting up the wedding if it wasn't gonna get absolutely fucking wrecked.
They might, but this is the kind of movie where the chaos has to happen.
I think next I want to talk about the effects in the movie.
Oh, the effects are fantastic.
Because they are incredible. They use a combination of props. Like they have like this giant alligator like head that they like float around and like it can like snap.
And you use it for like they use it for the close-ups, or like there's so many great shots where they have like a camera following along as it's like walking. There's like a big one that they use for certain shots.
But we also have so they also have like this kind of really well done, like almost like animatronic. Like it stands still, but it like moves like an alligator.
Its arm. It moves its like its mouth. There's miniatures. It's just
the miniature work I have to talk about because
it's great.
That's my jam. I love like miniature work. It looks really good when they have like the live alligator like roaming
the streets.
Because what happens is the alligator gets big enough that it can break out of the sewers and like just causes absolute fucking chaos.
Well, we get a scene where it breaks loose in the street, it like busts through the sidewalk and just causes mayhem.
Because basically what happens is like it grows so big it can bust out, and they like try and stop it in the sewers, but no one can figure out how because they're like a reporter like the douchebag reporter goes in and gets nommed, and then
first no one believes that there's a fucking alligator to begin with, but yeah, he gets nommed and they try to like flush it out. Doesn't work. It just fucking evades
the
them.
Military again fucks up.
Yeah,
like they call in the National Guard and they don't find the alligator, and then it busts out and just fucking starts chaos.
It's an 80s movie, so of course there's like a cop car that gets like exploded and people get fucking eaten. But it's just great because it's like they just took all the available like effects at the time and put all of them to use.
Oh yeah, you have everything. You even have like people getting swallowed whole by the gator.
Yeah.
Like they're like going into the animatronic.
Like it's just everything that they had access to.
Yes.
Is on display
here.
Used. And it's so great.
It looks really cool. Like the miniatures look pretty realistic. Like the animatronics don't look dumb at all.
No, it's great.
Like nothing looks dumb in this movie. It looks really well done and totally intentional, and I love it.
And it's just, I don't know, I'm a sucker for like old school special effects, like old school puppetry and animatronics, and this is just such a great display of old school effects.
Well, one of my favorite effects they use is like a tiny little, I guess it's not really a jump scare. It's like a
I know what you're talking about.
Out thing. But like
it's the first time you see it.
Yeah, they're in the sewer. The detective and the cop are in the cop that gets killed are in the sewer, and they like shine the flashlight and they're like looking at the map, and one of them accidentally like shines the flashlight up. And you see like a quick little background image of the fucking giant gator,
and it like moves its head
and like disappears into the shadows again.
It's great.
It's really well done, and it was really cool. It's probably one of my favorite shots in the entire movie.
Also, just great usage of like real locations.
Yeah, because they actually film in the sewers, like so with natural lights.
All these fucking actors just walking around the dirty sewers with like all the live audio in there. It's great.
And I mean, even like the city, I don't know if it's set, it maybe is sets, but like it doesn't really look like a cheap set. It doesn't look like a, the back lot of like Warner Brothers.
No, it's like
recognized from every single movie.
It's like all these like dirty alleyways and like, I which again, I appreciate.
Yes.
Appreciate the commitment to reality.
Now, the characters are amazing because you get our detective, you get like the woman who writes, who's like a professional, like, I can't remember what they
She's a woman at like the university.
She studies like reptiles and amphibians and stuff like that.
Ornithologist?
I think that's what it's called.
And, which is funny because I completely forgot about this, but she is the girl in the beginning.
Yes.
Who buys the alligator.
So there's like a reason she's so obsessed with alligators.
But I also love that it's like a scene that lasts like 10 seconds where she mentions that like, yeah, I had an alligator once. His name was Ramon, and my dad found him dead once when I was at school.
Yep.
And that's literally the beginning of the movie.
Well, I like how it's kind of like tongue-in-cheek ironic because literally that alligator.
That's the alligator.
Is that alligator that she had.
That's it. Yeah.
It's kind of like they're just like.
But it's like it's so quick.
That is Ramon.
Yeah.
And you just know you can connect the dots. It doesn't like really matter in the grand scheme of things, but like it's kind of cool to make that connection just like out of the blue.
It's a cute little detail. Because the characters in the movie have no idea, but in the audience, you know. So
you get your like douchebag police chief, and then one of our favorite characters. They bring in the specialist. This special hunter, because they can't take down this gator.
When everything goes to shit and it eats a cop, they bring in a fucking big game hunter, and it's this fucking douchebag who's like. Just super cocky, and
he like hits on every woman he sees.
Every woman, and does like alligator noises.
So like he like tries to hunt it. It goes down like an alley. He tries to hire like 3 guys to like help him hunt the alligator, and they're like, "No, we're not doing that."
They're like, "We can tell you where it is," but as soon as he's like, "Oh, you're supposed to go first," and they're like, "Are you kidding me?" And then he goes first and gets fucking eaten. That's another thing of this movie is like every fucking character that's like a remotely douchey gets fucking eaten.
Yes.
Which is just...
They even have a scene where literally like a bunch of main douchebag characters get nommed in quick succession.
That scene is amazing.
Should we delve into the wedding scene?
Well, so essentially...
The original Red Wedding?
The original Red Wedding, because... The big thing with the movie is there's like this pharmaceutical company that they're doing experiments on stray dogs.
Yes, and the mayor knows about it.
The mayor knows about it. Everyone knows that they're basically like experimenting on these dogs, and when the dogs are dead, they just dump them in the sewer.
Because there's like a pet owner that like takes like...
He owns a pet store.
He owns a pet store, but he doesn't even take like strays in. He like just finds dogs that like have happened to wander away from their home.
Yeah, because there's a scene where there's like a dog peeing next to a fire hydrant, but it has like a dog tag, but he just takes it and stuffs it in his van.
So this like scientist wants puppies to experiment on because apparently they're better test subjects, and like he's at the wedding.
So they're all like halfway through the movie. They start setting up that there's this big wedding where the guy who's doing the tests on the pets is going to marry the daughter of the CEO.
So the CEO is there, the mayor is there, the asshole that wanted the puppies,
and it's all there, and there's like this...
they're all in one central location, and it's a giant monster movie, and they've all done dirty deeds, so you know what the fuck is about to happen. Like, that's the whole setup.
And it's...
Because they make it a point at one point to show them setting up the wedding, and that they know the CEO knows the scientist and knows the mayor. Like that, you know, they're all in cahoots.
Everyone's connected,
and they all want this alligator taken down. So
they even went so far as to get our main detective fired.
Yes,
because he was stepping on too many toes.
So they all know about this, and they all know how shitty they are. And they all want this alligator taken care of so they don't have bad publicity. They don't care about anyone getting killed.
No.
They just don't want bad publicity against them. They don't want anyone finding out that it's their fault.
That it's their fault.
This giant alligator is roaming around. But don't worry. They're going to get their just desserts, okay?
Don't worry. It's an 80s movie, so...
They'll get their cake and eat it too,
because there's a scene where it's like swimming in a lake or something, or a river. And these like police boats try to like kill it.
Well, like I love this scene because it's like the alligator is like smarter than the boats, right? So like one guy like they're like shooting at the alligator, and the alligator like dives down, and one of them like grabs a grenade and is gonna throw it, but then the alligator comes up just before the boat, and so they launch off the alligator.
They launch the boat, and a bunch of them fall off, and the grenade lands back in the boat.
The guy drops the grenade in the boat.
And it explodes. And everyone in the water gets eaten. One of the guys gets both of his fucking legs chomped off. And then, like, they're at, like, the location, and they're, like, trying to find out where is it going. And they're like, oh, it's heading right for the party.
Yep.
And literally,
next scene,
it fucking comes out of the bushes. And I swear, this is just fucking beautiful.
Well, it's like nomming on people. It chomps one of the waitresses.
It chomps multiple people. There's scenes of it like
slaps
you see his like tail flipping around and just people being thrown into the cake, thrown into other people. Just madness.
They didn't need to go this hard.
They really didn't.
They didn't need to go this hard in any of this movie.
But they did.
But they did, because there's multiple scenes where people get nommed like this, and they're all awesome.
But my favorite thing, just pure poetry, is the fucking CEO gets in his fucking limousine or whatever.
And the mayor's like trying to get in the limousine too.
And he closes the doors on the mayor.
Yeah, but he locks the doors and tells the driver to get away.
And the mayor gets nommed. And then the fucking alligator destroys the car.
He crushes the alligator. Like he knew this CEO is a total dirtbag.
What I love about the scene though,
he crushes the limo on top of the CEO.
Everything.
The CEO gets crushed to death.
Like he destroy. It's like a 30-second scene of just it destroying this fucking limo bit by bit.
Like he doesn't get anything out of that.
No.
Like it knew this guy was a total fucking D-bag.
You know what?
And decided to crush the fucking limo. It was just like, fuck you. Fuck everything you stand for. You fucking wanted puppies. Fuck you.
Well, my favorite thing is like that scene is so unnecessary. But from like an audience perspective, it's so necessary. Like it's so epic.
There's just something about like assholes getting like comeuppance that is fucking awesome.
Especially in movies like this.
Especially where they're telling their scientists to like kill puppies and shit. You don't fuck around with that.
And like telling them, because they're like when the cops investigating, they're fucking lying out their ass.
Yeah.
About like, we only take them from the pound and then we send them back to the pound and they cremate them.
Yes.
It's all bullshit.
Don't worry, like the scientist that was experimenting on those puppies, he gets eaten too.
That's what's great. It's like it's this whole scene.
Like literally, the only innocent people that get killed in this movie are the policemen in the beginning. Like the policemen when they're first investigating, and then one of the waitresses, and that's it. Those are the two only innocent people.
Almost everyone who gets killed in this is involved, and it's
complicit in this fucking like horrible experimentation on animals. Like PETA, eat your heart out. Okay?
This movie is great because it's just crowd pleasing. That's what it is.
Well, it's like. There's something about like nature versus like evil, right?
Yeah.
Like, nature versus people who don't respect nature.
Yeah.
And it kind of goes for that a little bit. Like I would say like it only goes for that because the alligator kind of just goes for the people that fucked up and like did these horrific experiments on these animals. But that wasn't like, it's not nature versus people. It's just like the alligator just happens to be in the right place at the right time to kill these people.
Well, it's for our satisfaction.
Yes.
It's for the audience.
Because we know what they did. The alligator doesn't.
That's the thing. It's for us. It's our satisfaction. Like when the fucking reporter, who's been like a total dick to the main guy, he goes down to the sewers because he says there's an alligator in there. So everyone thinks it's a joke. He goes down in the fucking sewer and starts like posing everything for like the photographs, and while he's posing he gets fucking nommed, and it's like this great scene where it's like taking photos, so you get like these flashes and it's just him being like fucking chomped on. It's great.
Well, we even get like a kind of like almost like a CSI moment where the guy's like, well, at least he'll finally get his picture on the front page.
And that's all he wanted.
After they developed the thing, and it's like, well, at least he'll finally get his like picture on the front page. That's what he's always wanted. Like cue fucking the Who, fucking him putting on his sunglasses.
There's so many moments like that.
There really is. It's kind of insane.
Because like, again, like the writing, it's very lighthearted. It's just very sarcastic.
It is very sarcastic, and they don't take anything too seriously. But in a movie like this, you don't need to take anything too seriously.
No.
It's a giant alligator. Like, who's taking it seriously? Why would you take it seriously?
The thing is, like, at the end of the day, like, you watch this movie, and it's an hour and a half, and because of the tone, it's just fun.
Yes.
Like, it's not... I don't feel depressed after this movie ends.
No, because honestly, like the alligator does kill a lot of people, but they're mostly just evil people, and you don't mind that they get nommed, and then we'll talk about the final scene in a minute, but like, don't worry, what you expect is pretty much what happens.
Yeah, and
like, they do finally fucking end this alligator's reign.
Well, there's like and again, it's good writing because like everything, it all fits together.
Yes.
Because they mention that there's methane in the sewers, which can explode. And there's a quick scene where a crazy guy shows up at the police station with a bomb and saying like, oh, I killed them. I killed the people in the sewers. And they like disarm him and they disarm his bomb. And then when our guy gets fired, he goes to the evidence room and he takes the guy's bomb and a bunch of dynamite.
Yes.
And all the methane comes into play.
I think we should also
good writing.
Like, it is good writing, and I love. So, like, you talk about like sarcastic tone. I need to mention one of my other favorite scenes. There's a lot of them, but when our dude gets fired, like we mentioned earlier, that he gets fired from the force.
I love this.
She, like, the woman that he's like going with is
because him and the reptile expert start to like have a thing.
So she's like, well, like, how do you feel about getting fired? And he's like, I kind of figured they would do it eventually anyway. It was just a matter of time. She's like, well, what do you plan to do now? He's like, well, I got, he's like, well, I got the dynamite and a bomb that someone made from the evidence locker. I plan to go out and like find this alligator and kick its ass.
It's so great.
Like, just true hero moment. Like, just fucking, like, I don't fucking care that I got fired. This alligator's going down.
Well, he says, like, after he gets fired, he's like, yeah, like, I expected it. But now that I got fired, I feel great.
He's like, I'm gonna kick this thing's ass. He's like, it's like, just total fucking, like, hero moment. Just like, fuck you. Fuck this alligator. I'm still gonna fuck it up. I don't care. I got a vendetta to fucking absolve.
That's great.
I also love... kind of like, it's weird. There's like a weird, like, weirdly progressive scene, in my opinion. I don't know, like, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But,
it's
like,
cute.
It's a cute scene because, like, it's not like you're aggro fucking hero, like taking the woman in his arms and fucking making out with her because he can, and like taking her in his arms and just like kissing her because she wants
She's a woman.
She's a woman and she wants it. Like, just like, you're like your typical 80s action movies. But in this one, it's kind of weird how they do it, but I like it. It's like he was like, he's kind of like being coy about it because he's like, oh, well, I was going to take you out and like, I hope that we would come back to your place, but I don't know, like, if I should, because I don't know if we're actually going to come back to your place, and I'd be really disappointed if we didn't. And like,
he's like, I'd be disappointed to have to eat all that food for like no payoff, basically.
Right. And then he's like, well, so like, what would you say to if I said something like that to you? And she kisses him.
Yeah, she's like, I say that's fine.
And he's like, so I'll take that as a yes. And then he basically, like, I mean, in true 80s fashion, it's not like super progressive. I'm not going to say it's like super woke or anything, but like,
I mean, listen, there's movies made now that are less.
He basically asked permission to like
keep hitting on her
and like take her back to her place afterwards, or his place afterwards.
Because they do make a funny joke about how she lives with her mom, and there's a part where he meets the mom,
and she's fucking crazy,
and she's a total chatterbox, and they make a joke at the end when the fucking police chief's all like,
they never miss an opportunity to like. Also, I know which joke you're mentioning, but
because the police chief's like, oh, thank you. And he's like, oh, you believe me now? And he's all being sarcastic. He's like, and they're walking away, and he's like, I should set him up with your mom. She can talk his fucking ear off.
Well, they also never miss an opportunity to make fun of his baldness, because she's like, yeah, well, I think they might have a chance because she's into those like sky high hairlines,
those growing hairlines,
he's like
growing foreheads.
She's like, she looks at him and she's like, it must run in the family.
He's like, yeah, whatever.
They never miss an opportunity to like set him up for bald jokes. I don't like. He has like mostly a full head of hair too. Like it's not like it's like.
Well, it's just funny because like, I don't know. I mean, I appreciate that it's like they got like a very like. I mean, because I've seen the actor before and a bunch of other things, but I just appreciate that they got like a relatively normal-looking actor.
Yeah, like he's not like super like incredibly like star power handsome,
but he's a good actor, but he looks like a normal person.
Yes,
and I appreciate that. And he's got a little bit of thin hair. And they just never miss an opportunity.
Like, I wonder if that was like written in, or they just like were just like fuck it, let's any chance you can just make fun of his hair.
Yeah, like did that come after they cast him? Did they purposely try to cast an actor? Like
I don't know,
but I appreciate the little. I don't know. It lightens the tone.
Yes,
because in between the insane gore and body parts, you just have those like just scenes of like the little humor.
Well, I can also appreciate this movie because it's fun and it doesn't ever get like too dark, right? It never it never goes to like that realm of like, oh, this is really dark and poignant. Like this
is really depressing.
Yeah. It's never like, oh, like we're watching like an important movie. It's like it's just a monster movie.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's people who knew
and
the tone.
You know what? That's all it needs to be.
That is
all it needs to be. It's just a really good creature feature. With really good effects, really good acting, really well shot. The cinematography is really well done.
Yeah, like, considering how much of this movie is...
They just got the film crew crammed into fucking, like, sewers. And
like considering how much of this is just taking place in dark sewers, it's great.
I love when they're in circular, like, sewer tunnels. It looks so cool when they're, like, shining the flashlight or, like, the alligators, like, looking down the, like, circular thing. Because you see it's, like... It's like
you see it coming down.
It's like jaw like floating there and like it looks.
Well, they do that thing also where like people. There's always like people just like standing in the sewer and they're like illuminated with like blue light, just enough to where you can see everything, but it doesn't look too like lit up. It's perfect.
Yeah, it looks great. Like I don't know, like this movie is just really good. Like it's.
Yeah, though this is like
just, I don't like. So I don't know. Like I'm trying to like think of like words that I haven't used already, but like it's just a really well made, fun movie. Like that's all I can. Like that's the best way I can describe it. But like,
yeah, it's very unpretentious. It knows exactly.
It's short, sweet, to the point, and it does it well.
It knows exactly what it is and what it needs to be, and it's fun.
Are there any other scenes you think we should like talk about? Because I know we've talked about like obviously the wedding scene is like
the fucking
one of the
best,
most incredible scenes we've seen in the 80s so far. Not my favorite scene from the 80s.
No, we'll get to that.
But like. I don't know, like, we've gone over the wedding, we've gone over, like, kind of what the story beats are, the fucking hunter getting nommed, the alligator busting out of the fucking sewer, which is fucking awesome. It looks really cool.
That scene is great.
It looks really cool, because it's, like, this giant, it's a normal-sized alligator, but it's, like, busting out of this miniature set.
Yeah, it's like the sewer set. It's like this, like, they built, like, this miniature, like, sidewalk, and it breaks out and starts walking, and like you get like this like also these like overhead shots of like an actual alligator walking next to like cars, and then it like goes into the lake, but it's all miniatures to make it look
really good. Like it looks real.
It looks great because again, they took all these special effects techniques that they had, and they're all in there.
But dude, that's my shit. I've been into miniatures since I fucking saw the original King Kong. So It's like, if you do good miniatures, you've already won me over.
Yeah.
Like if you can make something look good, like I even appreciate Night of the Lepus.
Oh,
for the miniatures, the miniature work in that is actually like it's a dumb movie, but like the miniature work was so good.
Well, that was a special movie.
It was very special.
This is
not Night of the Lepus. This is way better. This is way better than Night of the Lepus.
This kind of knows what it's going for a little more than the killer bunny, adorable bunny movie.
It was adorable.
With the little tiny baby sets.
Or do you remember in, what was it? Was it Zat that they had the random, like, fish, like, squirming on the
with
fucking...
like a fake field?
Yeah.
It was like a miniature farm.
It was like a throwaway scene that they just kept
2 seconds.
They kept in the movie for some reason because it has no, like, relevance towards the rest of the movie.
Yeah, it's just a catfish, like, flopping around on a miniature farm.
We've had quite a few miniatures like that during through the progress of the podcast, so...
Yeah, I mean, look, I love a miniature. Honestly, good or bad, there's just something adorable, especially when you... Especially, like, bad miniatures are just adorable because it's just, like... It's just childish to me.
It is.
This is not. This is, like, actually well done, so it's not adorable. This is just like, oh, this is great.
I think it's well done because they kind of keep it to, like, a minimum, right?
They use it when they have to.
They don't overuse the miniatures. They don't, like, focus on it so much. They don't focus on the scene so much that you notice that they're miniatures because it's really quick scenes.
Well, because that's the thing is, like, they use all the techniques.
Yes.
So you have a quick miniature, you have the fucking full, like, animatronic, you have the like, head munching on somebody. It's just...
This is a film of people, like, who knew what they were doing. Like, they knew what they were creating.
Yeah.
And they knew how to do it well. It's
how to put it on screen enough to where it looks real.
Great director, great cinematographer, and great effects crew. Like, the effects, I have to applaud the effects crew on this one because they did a really good job on every single effect. But we're getting into repetition where we just keep gushing about them, like how good the movie is. So,
like, I'm just saying, I'm not. Here's the thing, I did get a hold of this movie. I won't tell you how.
Through certain means,
because for some really weird reason, you cannot rent this movie anywhere. I don't know why. I really don't know.
I would argue, like, you should track this movie down.
I think if you like these kind of movies... Hell, if you like Jaws or anything like that, you like monster killer animal movies, you need to watch this.
Yeah.
You have to watch this fucking thing.
And then go watch Prophecy.
And and Prophecy.
But mostly watch this. Like it's so good.
This is great.
Alligator.
Go
watch it.
Watch
1980.
This. Get a hold of this thing.
Should we even do Shitty Pretty 10?
It's a 10.
It's obviously a 10.
It's not even... I knew it was a 10 before we even watched it. And
yeah, I didn't know, but I know now. So.
But you knew as soon as that first alligator scene came up.
Absolutely. I knew that I was in the right place right when that started. So, as we do, as customary...
I do want to mention another funny scene in the movie.
Yeah.
Is...
okay.
When he gets fired... Or he doesn't get fired, but he basically gets told, like, you're not in charge of the investigation. We brought fucking Jungle Jim to investigate the alligator. And he's leaving. And there's all these, like, guys, like, selling, like, alligator merchandise.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a fucking It's like a fucking carnival. There's all these douchebags trying to, like, profit off of it. And then there's a guy who just has a fucking tiny baby alligator in a box.
Yep.
And he's like, arrest him. I don't care. Fucking selling endangered species. Find something. And as he's walking away, the guy's like, you're intruding on free enterprise, you communist.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Again, great sense of humor.
Yes.
I'll leave it at that. Now we are at the end.
So, customary, when we reach the end of a year, we have 3 categories that we have to do.
Worst of the worst, best of the worst,
and
best of the best. So let's start.
Let's start with what? Worst.
This is not.
Do you want to go first?
Because
I think we agree on this one. This is like one of the ones we do agree on. I mean, honestly, we don't disagree on our like best of the worst or anything. I think we just chose different avenues.
We leaned slightly differently, but this one is because listen.
This one's no contest. Listen, okay, no contest.
We both hated Fiend, but at the end of the day...
Fiend is garbage, but it does not even hold a candle.
to the Puma Man.
The Puma Man. My God, the effects are so bad. Like, whoever decided that they should use one dolly for the entire fucking movie and, like,
one harness, you mean?
Yeah, sorry, dolly. One harness.
Bitch, I wish there was dollies. Every shot in that is like a fucking just set up camera, film potato.
The fucking scenes where he's flying and the green screen is just going wild behind him.
Someone's travel footage.
While he's fucking, like, swimming in midair on a fucking harness. It looks so fucking dumb. Everything about that movie is fucking trash.
Well, you know what here, if you want to know what that movie looks like, go on YouTube. Look up Hooked on a Feeling by David Hasselhoff. It's a goofy ass music video, but there's a part in that music video where it's David Hasselhoff on a fucking harness flopping around like a fish with travel footage behind him. And you know what? It still looks better than Puma Man.
Anything looks better than Puma Man. That is the worst special, like, superhero special effects ever.
And another reason why it's worse than the worst is because, unlike certain films coming up, I could not gain any entertainment from this thing.
Also, hands down, it's the worst superhero movie I've ever seen in my entire life.
It is the worst superhero movie. There's no joy. There's not even any, like...
There's no redeeming quality. There's no, like, so bad it's entertaining kind of shit. No.
No, there's no, like... Oh, this is so stupid, it's charming. No, it's not. It's just so stupid, it's stupid.
It's just dumb. Like yeah, it got a couple chuckles, but that didn't, like, sustain me through the entire hour and a half that felt like an eternity.
Yeah. It's like having a fucking classmate who masturbates in class and...
Like, you think it's funny, and then, like, you're just like, oh, this is really bad. This is fucking, wow, no, fuck, stop.
And then
stop.
He keeps doing it,
yeah,
and you're
please
just like,
stop.
Oh, okay. That's the... Puma Man is that.
It's like, yeah, when he's masturbating, you think, oh, at first it's, oh, okay, it's a joke. Okay, cool, yeah. Wow, he's continuing. Please stop. Please stop.
And then you realize...
Anyone help me. Please stop. Stop him. Please stop. And then just continues.
And then you realize you have to sit through that for an hour and a half.
Yep.
That's Puma Man.
Yeah, just sit in that uncomfortable, god-awful fucking feeling.
That's what watching Puma Man's like. That's it.
I mean, we don't hate it at all, though. It's fine.
No, it's an underrated gem.
So now we move on to
the best of the worst.
Best of the worst, and this is where we kind of sway a little bit. So, do you want to go first, or should
go for it?
Okay. So my pick is the Killings at Outpost Zeta.
Will is an ASMR fan.
Yes, just because I don't know, like, there's something endearing about how hard they tried.
I get it.
With like
$5.
With like $5 to their name. Like, they tried really fucking hard. Like, it is like very hard sci-fi.
Oh yeah. There's like world building and like all sorts of fucking scientific gobbledygook.
Like, I feel with a budget, this could have been an okay movie, like mutated rocks killing people. Like, I mean, maybe, I don't know, but
yeah,
maybe with a budget it could have done like better. But like, just the fact that they tried this is admirable.
There was a movie about killer rocks. Wasn't there Apollo 18 or whatever?
Yes. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Except
that's a horror movie about killer rocks.
I mean, hot take.
But they
this is a hot take coming.
Is it going to be a hot take? Are you going to say it's trash?
I am going to say that Killing at Outpost Zeta is. I would rather watch that than sit through Apollo 18 again.
Yeah, honestly, because it doesn't feel cheap.
Well, because first of all, Killing at Outpost Zeta isn't lazy found footage. And there's more world building. I don't know what it is. I do have a soft spot in me for like hard sci-fi.
Well, so Killings at Outpost Zeta, it kind of reminded me almost like a Star Trek episode, like a scary Star Trek episode. Like
just like a monster of the week.
Like original Star Trek, but like horror.
Yeah, like, just a monster, like a monster of the week.
Because there's a lot of like world building and there's a lot of like scientific shit going on, and they're talking a lot about all this science stuff and how they're exploring things. But there's also like this horrific mutated rock that's killing people.
Yeah.
So it kind of felt like a horror spin on a Star Trek episode.
And, it's very Star Trek.
And it was kind of like cool to see that done on such a low budget. And yes, they could have done better. But
could they though?
Well,
relative to money, it's fine.
I don't know. That's why it's best of the worst, because it's endearing. It's nice to see how there was a lot of passion in that. It just didn't quite hit the mark because they had like $5 to their name.
They had $5 to their name, and at the end of the day, it's a rock monster.
Yes. So come up with a better monster and get a better budget, but
it's fine.
I appreciate the world building, so
I appreciate the effort.
Sorry to go on a tangent about Killings at Outpost Zeta. I didn't think I was that passionate about it.
Apparently you are.
Apparently I am, because it did remind me of a Star Trek episode, and I do like.
You got a little nostalgia.
Yes.
My pick for best of the worst, because this is an absolute mongoloid movie. And this is a movie that's. This is like the stupidest movie. Like, if you really think about it,
I know what you're
if you use your fucking brain to really think about this,
dumb.
This is the stupidest, most shameless, like mongoloid lizard brain bullshit movie ever made. But it
has the ultimate shooting the rodeo.
It has the ultimate shoot the rodeo. It's so stupid, but this movie's hilarious. The Challenge of the Tiger, because again, this movie is so like not charming to watch.
Dude, no.
Like, the banter it leans so far into non-midi that it's so far that it comes back around and becomes charming and funny, because it's just there's so much nudity that it ceases to be interesting. Like, there's literally so much tits and ass on screen that my brain, your brain just stops thinking that it's exotic.
Well, it almost feels like these two actors just fucking around the whole movie.
Because it is. Because there's literally a scene where they go to a fucking horse race and just have our fucking dude shake hands with actors.
You cannot tell me that was authorized. There is no way they authorized that and got a permit.
Well, there's random people staring into the camera as our guy is drinking. Because they're like, why the fuck is there a camera
I can't believe they shoved a fucking camera in there and just acted like it was normal.
It's so stupid, and the whole plot about how it's a fucking thing that kills sperm and all the fucking terrorists want the sperm killer. It's so stupid. But man, it's so great, because it's they commit to the stupidity. And there's a scene where a guy fights a fucking bull. And it's stupid. And
it cracks its skull.
And we get a fucking X-ray of a cartoon skull.
That's the only time they do it, and I wish they would have done it more. But
if they did it more, it would have gone old. So it's almost kind of genius. And the fights are great. They're a lot of fun. And it's just, there's cars exploding. I mean, I'm sorry, endless entertainment. It's so entertaining.
It is very entertaining.
But it truly is.
That honestly, if I didn't, because I've been, for some reason I was thinking more and more about Killings at Outpost Zeta, and that's why it became my best of the worst.
But if that didn't exist,
Challenge of the Tiger, definitely,
because it's so stupid.
I don't even know why it's called Challenge of the Tiger, but I
have no idea. It has nothing to do with anything.
It really didn't.
Anything.
Now we go to our favorite, best of the best. And so since I started best of the worst, you get to start best of the best.
So my best of the best, this was close, because we all agree that we have 3 bangers.
There was 3 that were really hard to choose from.
We have The Island, Christmas Evil, and Alligator.
New Year's Evil was good. Don't get me wrong, but it was not nearly as good as these 3.
If that was a 9 out of 10, these are 10s. That's the difference. Now, this was close, but it just... Look, I love weird shit. So for me, best of the best is fucking Christmas Evil. Because it's so fucking weird and insane, and it just makes so much sense.
It's weird how, You know it was like a weird movie.
It's
made
100%.
by weird people.
That's what I love.
For a weird audience.
Dude, it's one of those where you watch it and I'm just like... That's the thing. It's true independent cinema. To where no one is like doing like test screenings for this shit.
Absolutely not.
There's no like focus groups telling them what to put in the fucking movie.
Well, I also love it because it has a surprising amount of heart and like
has a lot
like just a ton of Christmas shit.
A ton of Christmas shit.
So much Christmas shit. It's like drenched in Christmas.
And it just the whole movie, all hour and a half of it, it just rides that like gray area.
Yes.
Where there's no good or bad. It's just a movie. And you just have to deal with it. And I love it. And it just... The ending... the ending is so fucking amazing.
No, 10 out of 10. I'm actually adding it to my frickin' like
your Christmas shit
rotation.
Like, it's fantastic. I'm baffled that I'd never heard of it until this fucking podcast came along.
It's kind of our thing. It's like, it's really weird shit, but it's weird shit we're into.
I'm into it because it's just one of those things where you didn't know you needed it until you watched it.
Yes.
And then it just hits. It's like you're wandering through the jungle and you just happen to walk into a cave and find fucking gold. That's what it felt like. It's like I didn't know I needed this. But here it is.
I agree, and that actually is a perfect segue into my best of the best. Because this is my gold. This is literally X marks the spot.
Well,
gold. My hidden treasure, as it were.
Treasure, eh?
Do you know what I'm like hinting at? So
Will's hinting at the Fiend, clearly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm, yep. Fiend, best of the best. Fuck that movie. No. So it was really hard for me to decide too. It really was, because I love Christmas Evil for the exact same reasons you do. I think it's an incredible movie. I honestly love every single bit of it.
That's the thing.
I think it's incredibly made.
Everything about
and
it.
It's like you said, it's true independent movie, and I appreciate everything about it.
Yeah, like people talk about like, oh, independent cinema didn't like start until recently. Yeah, bullshit.
Alligator was incredible. It was awesome, really well done, right?
Alligator would have won it for me.
So Alligator would have won for me if these two movies didn't exist. So like Christmas Evil, because
Alligator would have won it for me if Christmas Evil didn't exist.
So for some reason, this one, well, not for some reason.
Not for some reason.
Okay.
I know why.
So this is like my jam, and we kind of explained this in the episode, but I love this shit. I love this kind of shit. And this is my movie. It was like tailor-made for me, I swear to God.
It really was.
It's The Island. I mean, it's so good. I love Michael Caine. I fucking love pirate shit. It was fucking weird as hell. Oh my God.
Man, is it weird.
Fucking weird. But honestly, and this is like, I know this is like lizard brain shit. This is like fucking monkey lizard brain shit.
Dude, this is fine.
The reason it won best of the best for me over Christmas Evil is because you get to see Michael Caine on a giant fucking Gatling gun mowing down like fucking hundreds of evil pirates.
Yeah.
Like, that scene is so incredible that I like constantly think about it. I literally have looked it up on YouTube and watched it multiple times. I'm not even joking. Like, I love that scene.
That's how you know you found...
The setup for that scene is, like, so well done. And, like, just seeing how aggro Michael Caine gets in this fucking scene is incredible.
That's how you know you found gold, is when you find yourself looking it up on YouTube after the fact.
Yeah. It's like those scenes at, like, the end of the movies, you know, where, like filmmakers don't know how to make a movie, so they fucking save every like good scene for the end of the movie, which I fucking hate. Island didn't do that, by the way.
No, Island is continuous.
Island is consistently good because there's a lot of shit going on and there's a lot of weird shit, and I love that. I think it's incredible. But this scene in general is why it made the whole...
This scene wins.
It wins best of the best because of this scene. And yes, Christmas Evil is a very close second. But The Island is just true. Like, I don't know, like you don't see movies like this ever.
No.
That's why Christmas Evil and like this are so highly regarded on this podcast because we will never see anything like these movies again.
No, unlikely.
I have never seen a movie like The Island where you like mix like Swiss Family Robinson with fucking Treasure Island and fucking Mad Max, like just insanity, and just fucking mash it into this weird fucking studio made like big budget studio made movie that I still don't understand what audience they thought this was for. It's for me, yes, but I'm not major audiences, okay?
No, that's what's great.
I don't understand why big budget fucking like, but I'm so glad they did. I am so glad that The Island exists because my life is better for it. Okay? My life is better for it, and I wish Michael Caine didn't hate this movie.
I wish there was more movies like that.
I do too. I wish there was more movies like Christmas Evil too. Like, I'm not gonna like throw shade at that movie because I love that movie.
No, there needs to be more.
There needs to be more like
weird shit,
weird horror, holiday themed movies, which I would love.
But good,
like done right.
Because there are, to be fair, like especially now in the last like 10 years, there's a lot of like Christmassy horror movies you can find. Just go through fucking Netflix and Amazon Prime, and you'll find boatloads of them. The problem is 90% of them are shit.
We can also find lots of pirate movies, but nothing like The Island. You can watch any pirate movie. I guarantee it won't be like The Island.
No.
There's no pirate movie like The Island.
Nope.
Literally no pirate movie like The Island.
Nothing.
And, maybe one of these days I'll just have to do a double feature like Muppets Treasure Island and fucking...
The Island.
And The Island.
That's a double feature.
Yeah, that's a good double feature.
That's the only thing you need right there.
Like Muppets doing weird pirate shit and fucking Michael Caine doing fucking crazy 80s pirate like Mad Max level bullshit. It's fucking great. So yeah. I sorry, I'm going off on tangents on these movies. I really liked this year. I think it's been a good year.
We got more coming.
And I can't wait, because the 80s, I mean, we knew the 80s were going to go off,
This is our aesthetic, so.
Like, we knew the 80s were going to go off. It's our favorite year, like, decade for movies. So, like, how could it not go off?
And it's going to keep going.
It's so good. There's so much good quality shit here. And even if you just want to pick and choose through our podcast, just fucking go watch those 4 movies. New Year's Evil, Christmas Evil, The Island, and Alligator. Watch all of them.
Yeah.
Because
you'll enjoy yourself.
They're all fucking good. Like, they're all fucking amazing.
It's great.
If you want like a 5th one, go watch Chain Reaction, because that one's good too.
Yeah.
It was like, it's weird as shit, and
it's like a weird Mad Max paranoia thing. But
yeah,
it's fine.
It's well done, and it's not the best movie, but it's definitely not bad.
No.
So yeah, that was 1980. We're on to 1981, baby.
That's it.
And yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't have anything else to say. We're just on to the next one.
On to the next one.
And we're going to continue. Thank you so much for listening. Thanks for supporting our podcast however you do. I don't know. Like,
yeah, we're everywhere. So wherever you prefer
we are
to listen.
On everything.
Fucking go.
Our RSS feed is everywhere.
It's everywhere.
And we're even on YouTube. If you didn't know, now you do.
I just added us to Pandora. We're on Amazon. Fucking everywhere. Spotify.
Blast that shit.
Go.
Promote us if you can. I don't know.
Tell your friends.
Fucking tell your friends. Because we love doing this, and we like, I don't know, like, it'd be. I would love to see an audience, like an audience like comes together, like a community.
I'm waiting for the day that I get bold enough to start asking you guys to send us films.
Like hell, if
hey,
you guys want to start sending us stuff, I'll set up a PO box. I don't fucking care.
Your dad made a weird movie in 1985.
Fucking send it.
Send it this way, baby.
You are a fan of a movie that literally no one else knows about.
That got like dumped into a 7-Eleven in 1995.
That you think we'll fucking love. Please, for the love of God, we need more stuff like Death Force. Please send that kind of shit my way.
Like weird shit that no one's watched. Right here.
That's our jam. If you haven't been listening,
absolute.
If this is your first episode, that's what we're all about here on They Mostly Come At Night.
Absolute homebrew.
It's weird homebrew bullshit. Okay, I mean it has to be action or horror or sci-fi, but we're into that kind of shit. Okay, so send it our way. I mean, eventually.
Eventually, yeah.
But that's what I would like to get to too. But anyway, thank you for everyone that does listen, and this has been Will.
This has been Alex.
And we will talk to you all later.
Bye-bye. On to the next one.
Bye. Michael Caine is the greatest action hero ever.
Next level Rambo.